Welcome back, everybody. I'd like to do something a little different today. We're going to call this the good, the bad, and the ugly. For those of you too young to get that reference, Google it. Clint Eastwood, great movie. It'll change your life. Enough about that. Anyways, before I get into the bad and the ugly, I'd like to just take a minute before we start driving to talk about the good. What Tesla has done, Elon Musk, the full self-driving team, everybody that works there, everybody that builds these cars, everybody that turns a screw or programs CAD or designs or sweeps or empties the trash, whoever you are, thank you. You're amazing. You are a rock star. The company is incredible. Yes, I'm a Tesla phobe, whatever you want to call it, but what they've done with this full self-driving package is really phenomenal. It's amazing what this can do and where they have come in such a short period of time. They are so far beyond anybody else out there. It's incredible. I'm very stoked to be a part of this program. I'm very happy. I'm hoping that I'm contributing to their efforts by helping them out. Anytime I intervene and take over, or anytime I punch this camera system symbol, this is going to be raw footage, so I'm not going to edit it. That's one thing we're going to do here today. Camera symbol, they'll get a notification that they need to take a look at that footage or intervention so they can get on their little keyboards or do whatever magic they do behind the scenes and make it happen. I'm already on version 2 of the software. I have not driven it yet. For those of you that are technophobes, we're on 10.2 beta, 2020 40.8.11, started at 10, and that was good, but it had some rough edges. We're going to see today if some of those rough edges have been smoothed out. I'm going to comment on what it used to do versus what it does. This is my first time behind the wheel with this new software. I'm going to bring you along for the ride. There are a couple of things that the version 1 wouldn't do. I'm going to call it the first and last 100 feet. If you're in a parking lot and engage it, necessarily wouldn't engage and find its way to the street. If you engage it, say in your driveway, I engaged it in my garage and it came down the driveway a little too fast and was going to hit the bump at the bottom really fast, and had to take over. And if you navigate to a business, it would stop right on the street. It wouldn't pull in, find a parking spot. So it's not doing the whole self-parking thing or anything like that. It won't actually pull into a parking lot. That's what version 1 would do. Let's see what version 2 does. I've got a very complex, very difficult course for its setup. I expect it to fail. I don't expect it to do this perfectly. We're going to go through a little tough neighborhood here with some blind stop signs, and the very end of the course, actually up here, I've got it set to navigate to a section of brand new road that was just put in, shows up on the map, but as you can see, it doesn't quite know how to get there because that's not quite mapped out yet. So there's some tricky things on the course we're going to take, and we're going to see how it does. And I'm going to bring you along for the ride and show you exactly what it cannot do. We'll go ahead and zoom in. For those of you who don't know, you can zoom in and out by just touching the upper part of the nav screen there. And if you want to change the view, you can come over here and look at the trip view. You can do a north up view, or you can do a guidance view, which is what I recommend for most people, because guidance view kind of is the most zoomed in and shows you where it's at. We're on nav on autopilot, just so you can see the full self-driving beta is engaged. And it's engaged. I gave it the destination. It's not going to do anything until I put it into drive. So just like normal software, you got to put your foot on the brake, drop it into drive. Now we get that visualization. It's telling me it's ready for an auto parking, but we're not going to try that. The gray line is a predicted path for the car when it's not moving. As soon as we start moving, that'll turn blue. As I've said in my previous videos, the reds are the basically the curbs, and then you can look at my previous videos to see exactly what all of the colors are. I actually went in and updated it with the written verbiage in the comments to tell you what all that is in case you want. But right now, it's ready to engage. The steering wheel's gray. It's going to engage at 10 miles an hour. I'm doing this in an area with very little to no traffic, which is good, because I want to give it a chance to seek its way through this neighborhood. So here we go. Are you ready? Along for the ride. I don't have to do anything but engage the system, 2 half clicks down, steering and speed, and here we go. I'm going to keep a very close eye on it and watch as we go along. It's going to have to get around this car. See marked in green right there. It's already got the blinker on for this right turn. Just turned on the headlights. Let's see how she does. The first version really would hug the right side of the lane, not necessarily in the neighborhood, but on marked lanes. This is doing, I think, a little better than before. It automatically sped up. I didn't ask it to, but here's a tight turn in the neighborhood, and it did braking very hard right there. We really didn't need to come down to 1 mile an hour. And I'm going to go ahead and let them know that by hitting that, you know, it did a little bit too much right there. It's got the right blinker on already. First, now we're kind of in the middle of the street. We should be farther over to the right, and it's stopping a little too far back to really see what's coming around the corner, and it's inching up. It did not do that before. It's inching up to get a good view, so that's new. Okay, here's a car coming. Let's see how it handles this. We're far enough over on the right to be safe, but a little close to the middle of the lane. It's going to take this right turn, hopefully without stopping, as it should. Another really good blind stop sign coming up here. This is one of those where a human driver would have to appropriately stop behind the stop line, and it's going a little bit too fast here. It shouldn't be up to 40 miles an hour. This is 25 in this residential. But a human driver would have to hit the stop sign and inch up a little bit to see beyond this kind of blind turn here. And we're stopping way too far back, and there's a car behind me, so I'm going to go ahead and take over right here. They're going to get a notification that they need to look at this, and you have to stop up here to really see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and make this turn manually and then re-engage the system. Now, it set itself at 17. I did not adjust the speed. If I tap the speed limit sign, it'll go up to the speed limit, and I can roll it up from there if I want to, up to 5 miles an hour like the other software, but we're just going to do the speed limit. Truck making a left in front of me. Slight slowdown, not as bad as what autopilot used to do. It used to really brake hard. Still hugging a little bit to the right side lane. Here's a tricky spot for it. This is a brand new street light they just put in 2 days ago. They put the poles up, but there's burlap covering the light. It's slowing down, but it decided, okay, I can go through that. That was pretty impressive. Even though the light was there, there was no light shown. Bag over it, it slowed down. I don't know if it was looking for cross traffic. Maybe that's what it was doing. That was very impressive. That's not on any database. It's not in the map. That is sure Tesla cameras and their neural net learning software, which, again, my mind is just blown. I don't know how they do that, but they do. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much. Anyways, as all you guys know with Teslas and autopilot, when you're on a well-marked street like this, it's amazing and phenomenal, and all you really have to do, like I tell a lot of people, is look for a couch laying in the road or a kid running out from the side. Now it's wanting to come take the left lane over here. I'm gonna take control and take it back over to the lane that it should be in, because we did not want to make a left there. So that was kind of new. It didn't really do that before. We're gonna go ahead and proceed through the stop sign, re-engage the system, get back up to speed, and yeah, I wanted to go in the left turn lane there. Not sure why it's going to do it again here, so I'm going to take it back. For some reason, it likes these left turn lanes. I don't know if it's because of the yellow line. If it's guiding off the yellow line, then the yellow line is, you know, taking it that direction, but it does like to jump into some of these left turn lanes, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Right now it's doing phenomenal. The standard autopilot did not jump into those left turn lanes. Version 1 did. Version 2, like I said, is still a bit on the right side of the road. Very little traffic around. Sorry, we don't have a lot of visualizations going on here, but again, going through the left turn lane, I'm going to steer it back over to the normal lane of traffic here. What I'm going to do is auto lane change, full blinker on. This is normal autopilot behavior. It does not give you the old visualization like it used to, because of the new visualizations that are on here. But overall, what you guys are looking at right now, you might not be that impressed, because I am having to intervene, and I am having to, you know, really adjust its path. But again, I gave it a very difficult mission. This is not an easy task, what I'm asking it to do, drive through street lights that were just put up, and you know, different areas like the neighborhood back there with really unmarked streets. It drove through there, you know, for a package that's not relying on super graphic GPS data, i.e. GM and a lot of other people. You know, this is not super mapped. I don't know how much of the GPS data they're relying on. I'm not a software engineer. I'm not, you know, there's one thing I did want to talk about, why maybe I was one of the ones to get the golden ticket, as I call it. Another movie reference, Willy Wonka. I don't know how Tesla picks their people. Sorry if I'm diverging my train of thought here. Like I said, this is all raw footage. I am the vice president of the Southern Arizona Tesla Club. Props to the club. And our president, Andy McLeod, is very active. I don't know if that had any reason for me to be picked or not. It's a great club. If you're in Southern Arizona, come join us. We do a lot of fun things, a lot of great people. A little plug for the club there, a little shameless. I don't know if that's a reason. My Model 3 was one of the early builds. I got it in May of 2018. I've got over 50,000 miles on it. Let's see here, where are we at? 56,247. So, you know, it's an early build car with a lot of miles. I don't know if that's one of the reasons that they picked me for this program. I'm sure wanted somebody who drives quite a bit. I am retired now. I've got a lot of time on my hands, so that, you know, gives me a bit of a luxury to do this type. Oh, here's a coyote in the road. I got my foot covering the brake, and he ran off. Thank God he didn't jump out in front of the car. The software, I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the coyote, so you guys will have to let me know if, you know, that was something that it noticed or not. I'm not going to go through the usual YouTube like, subscribe, and thumbs up, because this is really all I'm doing is full self-driving beta. Anyways, back to reasons why I was picked or not. Nobody really knows. I don't know. I like the fact that I'm retired, I have time on my hands, but you know, one of the reasons I feel that I'm competent enough to do this, for 30 years I was a professional pilot, flying helicopters, jets, everything you can imagine all over the world, difficult conditions, and I'm used to using autopilots. Most of my stuff was hand-flown. We're coming up on a roundabout here. This ought to be interesting. It's again wanting to take the left lane. I'm not going to let it. Got traffic behind me, and version 1 would come to a stop before it entered the circle. If it's going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and correct it and take over, because we really don't need to stop before the circle. It's a yield sign, so yeah, I'm going to manually enter the circle, but it will drive around here automatically, and we'll see that on the way back around. I can re-engage the system right here. Anyways, yeah, I'm used to multitasking, and you know, I feel like I can do this safely and still comment on video and watch what's going on. And I'm absolutely positive that was not one of the reasons they picked me, because they didn't know anything about me as far as that goes. I have, as most of you know, have very little to no presence on social media. I'm not a big fan of that. They did want some exposure on this for whatever reason. I'm hoping to shed some positive light on it before it gets out there in the wild and too many people do stupid things like crawl in the back seat and go to sleep, because until they say that's okay, it's not okay. So here's the left-hand turn lane. It's not taking. It did a nice appropriate slight right like any driver would. Still slightly on the right side of the road. You can see this is a very well marked road and very easy to drive. It's nothing that, you know, I would correct if I were driving it. I would be, even on the markings here, you can see it's slightly to the right. If I were driving it, I would be about I would say maybe 6 to 8 inches over to the center. Not very far off. It's definitely acceptable. It's definitely safe. Here's another left turn coming up. Let's see what it does here. And slight veer on the steering wheel, just real slight, like it kind of wanted to do that, then it didn't. It's adjusting the speed appropriately and taking all this very nicely. Like I said, it's not going to go to the proper destination I have set in here, but we will take a couple of traffic circles and see exactly what it does. Since I know for a fact it's not going to go to the right place, let's cancel the nav. One thing I did want to show you, once you cancel a nav, it still has a predicted path. It still thinks, well, this is where I want to go. Out of curiosity, with the nav canceled, let's see what it does when it comes up to a traffic circle. Is it going to go around in circles? Is it going to take the first exit? I don't really know. Is it going to go off of what it was last programmed in there? Stopping for traffic control in 300 feet. There's no stop sign here. It's a yield sign. Nobody's behind me. It's going to put on a left-hand turn blinker. That is incorrect. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. It doesn't really know what to do at this point. Well, the gray line is going to go around. Left-hand blinker, I guess, is indicating it's going to go left. Right, it's very close to the inside. Yeah, that was a little too close for comfort to the inside curb there. So blinker went off as I manually exited the traffic circle. That traffic circle has a very low inside curb. The left rear tire did bump it. I allowed it. Here's kind of a dead-end street. I'm going to see what it does here. It's going to go straight through the dead end. I'm going to go ahead and brake. So, you know, it definitely was not ready for that. We're going to pull over here and engage it in another tricky little section and just see what it does. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to re-nav back to the park back at the beginning of the neighborhood where we started. And there's no route calculated yet, so I'm going to go ahead and engage the system. We're going to see what it does. It is taking a bit of time today to calculate routes. There's a closed gate there, and it's kind of confused. It's got a gray line because we're stopped. It doesn't know what to do. So I'm going to tell it what to do. I'm going to disengage the system here, and we'll re-engage it once we point this way. We're stopped. I was hoping it would give me the auto steering. It's just giving me the speed. There's the steering. So we'll see what it does here. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this raw footage. Appropriately stopped at the right distance here. Can see very well there.